710 at KPEL, Acadiana's Morning News. Welcome into the 7 a.m. hour. It's the beginning of a new week. Hey, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so it's gonna be a great week.
We're gonna win the Powerball this week, right?
Well, I'll start. I'm already winning the lottery because guess what I'm doing at 10:30 today?
What are you doing?
I'm going to tour the new Costco in South Lafayette.
Sweet.
I hope they give me a hot dog as a parting gift on my way out. Hint to anyone who's going to be over there.
Yeah, if you're running the tour, the boy wants the hot dog, okay?
Yes, that will determine when I come back to the building if I say it was a good tour, it was just all right. Another guest on the line for the 7 a.m. hour.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Nathan Nascimento, he's Senior Policy Advisor at Freedom Partners, joining us on the line. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm great, and how are you?
Oh, we're doing just great this morning. So, all right, I saw this item, and I was like, wow, I got to call Freedom Partners. I want to know more about this. The 2016 ObamaCare Deductible Increase Tracker. So tell us all about your tracker.
So here's what's going on. So on the Obamacare exchanges, the healthcare exchanges, people are signing up for whatever healthcare plan that they're looking at. And
sure.
Essentially there's three metallic bands that you can choose from. There's a bronze, there's a silver, and there's a gold. Overall, in Louisiana, we're seeing a 24.5% increase, which translates to a $675 increase on the out-of-pocket cost that people have to pay before their health insurance kicks in. This is a huge increase from last year.
Yeah, it is. And, the people who are paying these policies, we continually hear from these folks. In some cases, we've heard from people where their deductible has gone up. It's doubled. I mean, just issues with this. So in these exchanges, they're having problems as well, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. I mean, it's not just the deductibles, and it's across the board. It's premium increases as well. I mean, and on top of that, it's also the matter of there's fraud in the exchanges. There's all kinds of problems that are going on with these things. People are getting frustrated, and it's creating more chaos year after year.
It's really rough for those people who, obviously who do not have insurance, people that want coverage, then the people who already had coverage and they were happy with what they had, having to pay even more out of pocket now, though. That means less money for restaurants, less money for movie theaters. It really does have an impact in every community.
That's absolutely true. And on top of that, too, it's not just like the fun stuff that you're having to cut back on. Sometimes it's some really hard decisions that you have to make about whether or not you have to trim back on the grocery bill or figure out a different way to cut back on energy costs or something like that, or how much gas you're going to put in the gas tank. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact of the matter is, your healthcare premiums in Louisiana are going up 14%. On the high end, it's almost 30% for some folks who have healthcare plans. You're seeing your out-of-pocket costs go up. I mean, every opportunity that you see for healthcare is going up, whether it's the drug costs, whatever the case may be. Obamacare is wrecking things, and folks are taking on the chin, especially folks in the middle class who are taking it the hardest.
So, Nathan, what do you think is ultimately going to happen? I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, but even in the next couple of years, do you think some of these exchanges will end up folding? Do you think Obamacare is just going to end up imploding?
Well, here's what I do know. I do know that healthcare premiums are going to continue to go up. In fact, they're going to explode in next year. We know, and it's going to happen year after year. We have a couple of things that are winding down, a couple of risk programs that are going to wind down at the end of this year. We know that premiums are going to explode. Now, moving forward, it's hard to say whether or not these things happen. I think it largely depends on what happens come November. Mm-hmm. I think it also depends on how you thoughtfully try to untangle Obamacare and considering how much damage it's done to the insurance marketplace, how much damage it's done to healthcare overall. I mean, frankly, it's not just the healthcare premiums and the deductibles. It's the fact that it's impacted businesses. It's impacted people's pay. It's impacted how many doctors are out there. I mean, this thing has a stranglehold on us, and it's going to take some time to untangle it and think thoughtfully through how you reset things such that people can get the care that they want at prices that they can afford, and so they feel better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the number one thing. The ability to be able to find a doctor lately, too, seems like that has been, I don't know, monumental for some things. Kind of the water cooler talk, if you will. I hear a lot of people talking about that as well.
Yeah, we've seen a significant drop off, and on top of that too, you have in some places you have these healthcare co-ops, which were these nonprofit organizations that were started under Obamacare. You're seeing these things fold, and some of these doctors who have been taking these patients, and these patients who bought these healthcare plans, they were forced to buy these healthcare plans. They bought them, they were utilizing them. They go to the doctor, and now these doctors are going to be taken on the chin because they're not getting paid from the insurance companies like they were promised.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of doctors who are now left there exposed. There's questions about whether or not the patients are going to be held accountable for it. I mean, the fact of the matter is that if you're a doctor or a medical professional right now, there's some real concerns about your financial stability, and it's not that you're trying to be rich or anything else like that. It's just that you want to be able to keep the doors open and keep on taking care of patients.
Yeah, I mean, that's, why they tried to get into it in the first place. Rob?
So at what point are we too far into it that you have all these people who have insurance now just being able to, and I know forever it was repeal, and then it sort of turned into repeal and replace. At what point do we just change what's there in existence? Because now you have all these people who never had insurance before now do have coverage, even though it's skyrocketing the cost for the rest of us. How do you then take that away?
Bob, you raise a great question. There's 2 points I want to hit on that. Number one, the fact of the matter is that just because you have health insurance coverage, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to afford the costs. It doesn't guarantee you're going to be able to get to a doctor that you like. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to pay for it at the end of the day. So what good is health insurance if you can't utilize it to the way that it needs to be done? On top of that, too, I think that there's still opportunities. I mean, I look at this as a way. I still think that there's opportunities to fully repeal this thing. But again, I go back to my earlier point, which is the fact of the matter is that you have to do this thoughtfully. You can't just automatically on day one go in there and say, I fully repealed, the Affordable Care Act. It can't be done because of the fact that it's going to have a tremendous impact to people. You're right. A lot of people have signed up for health insurance because they were forced to, because of the mandates or the penalties. People chose to sign up for these health care plans. So the idea that you're going to go in there on day one and say, I'm going to repeal this, and it's not going to have damage to folks or it's not going to cause concerns or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, people just want to be able to take care of their families. So you have to do this. You have to unwind this thoughtfully. You have to look at this. And on top of that, too, I would say when it comes to a replacement plan, the idea that you just want to stick another plan in there, I don't think that's the right way to go, because I think fundamentally forcing people to buy health insurance is the wrong approach. You need to focus on the better health for more people at lower cost, whether they have health insurance or not. So you have to look at the different ways that you can wind this back, allow the market to breathe, figure out as many options as you can, figure out where government's the problem, and then remove government from that equation.
Nathan Nascimento, Senior Policy Advisor at Freedom Partners. Thank you so much. And before we let you go, is there a place where people can see the table for themselves?
Oh, absolutely. Just visit our website at freedompartners.org.
.org, easy enough to find. Nathan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. Coming up now on 719. So, yeah, you can go there. And, of course, we'll have a little post about it later, and so that'll be included, too.
It's just interesting. I heard someone say, listening to a lot of the commentary, especially surrounding the presidential election, which we've been watching happen for how many months now, who is going to be, you just have to ask yourself the question, will the Republican Party be the ones who completely take it away instead of offering an alternative? I think the answer has to be we just fix it. I think with any law, and especially whenever you are the president, say we get a Trump who's in office, or even a Cruz who, in Cruz was repeal for so long, but I think even he's come around to there has to be a better way that's less expensive. And so gosh, that's where we got to go. We're going to go broke.
Well, and the misconception that was out there that the Republicans did not have a plan, that was ridiculous. I can't tell you how many times, we talked to Congressman Charles Bustani and the other doctors that are in Congress that he worked with on, what they thought would work to reduce prices.
I know we've said, and we've kind of jokingly joked, but about, Dr. Ben Carson, we've said, Surgeon General. Maybe he's the person that you have a new cabinet secretary that's just going to deal, because this whole thing has been all on the backs of the human health and hospitals, our health and human hospitals, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about, department. Maybe that's not who, maybe the administrator, maybe the person who's charged with dealing with the hospitals is not the person to deal with it, because it gets kind of muddy, I think. Now you're talking about, that's the people directly affected. I don't know. Dr. Ben Carson, maybe we just created a new cabinet position for you. Figure this out. Figure this one out. Gotcha. You didn't become president, but figure this one out.
But here's what you get.
7:21 now at KPEL.